Some schools tackle literacy and numeracy challenges. Other schools tackle technical challenges. But I think in all the programs that we saw, the ministry was really pleased at the programs, the implementations, and the results. One such school that submitted a proposal is the Daryll Jordan Secondary School.
We applied for a school improvement grant for an integrated agriculture project that would include traditional agriculture, hydroponics and aquaponics, and robotics. When I was informed that the school was open for the grant, I went to Mr. Kelman and his team, and they gave me these 3 projects, which we then put together into one integrated proposal. After we came back in September 2018, the kids came back in and they did the fine work, like preparing the shelving, painting the shelving, preparing and cleaning the area, putting down the marl fill that would act as a filter for water in the green shade house. They did those parts, so they have always been invested and involved in the process of moving the project forward.
We had lots of involvement from the entire school. So as children come into school one day, they see a plain spot and they come back and then they see a structure or some elements that were not there the day before. So it piques their curiosity. And that's the first step. If they're interested or curious, they'll get involved. So the construction elements, of course, in terms of bringing the materials in, transporting with the wheelbarrow, that's always fun for young kids. Lifting the materials, setting them in place, and of course, all the while this is happening, they're asking questions. So you're feeding knowledge even then in the informal sense.
The aquaponics part, but first and foremost, our children and fish. Always got fish on the compound, always talking about fish, always want to sell fish. Miss Brooks took that and put it together in what could we do with that, and conceptualized a situation where you would grow fish, like tilapia, that you could sell for food, and you could also use the effluent from the fish as the nutrient base to power an aquaponics system.
What really aquaponics is growing or producing crops using fish as your nutrient source. Here, what we have here, we have our tilapia in the base of this tank, and their waste, we will feed the tilapia and their waste will serve as the nutrients for the crops. So the water from the tank will filter through our water tables where we have lettuce crops, and it will cycle back to mainly our herb garden or herb bed. And in aquaponics, it's a soilless cultivation of crops. As a media, we use baked clay and the nutrients from the water from the fish.
For our traditional system, we have a relatively large plot. We don't have mechanized equipment, so it involves getting help, clearing the plot, plowing the plot, getting it ready for planting. We've only ever been able to have 3 or 4 rows at a time on the cultivation. That takes a lot out of the children, and when they go off on breaks, there is nobody to keep it going. So then it goes back to being under grass and under cultivated. So what we are trying to do with the formation of these 3 systems is to utilize that a bit more, but also have less labor intensive situations that they can be involved with. The robotics has been an important component in that we are looking to develop a system that can run the irrigation for us without us having to be here.
The overall aim of this entire project is what I call a re-injection of youth and innovation and fun into agriculture. So what we've sought to do is to bring the facilities here in line with current acceptable standards. Our students are going to be getting involved in training, CVQ training as well, and it is necessary for our facilities to be up to a particular standard for them to even reach that qualification. So
having large-scale numbers certified at the same time wasn't possible without some of the structures that we're slowly putting in place now. So the grant helped us to put a lot of the structures in place that would make us compliant for assessment.
For our students who are enrolled in the CVQ program, they are now coming to be what we've been talking about before. Perfect or better conditions for nursery plants. Before we would have done our seedlings, and we had to leave them open to the elements and hope for the best, which we know is not acceptable. So now they're seeing the opportunity now for the seedlings that they do in class now to have a place where they can actually find them and they come back to start with. But also to have them in a space where they can observe them, observe the changes, and critically analyze what is happening with my plant. So we have taken a holistic view of this entire project. Entrepreneurship is a big part of the culture here at Daryll Jordan Secondary. And what we wanted our students to be able to see is that there's a connection between agriculture, farming, and finances. We don't want them to see it as something secondary where it's just work for work's sake. So we have introduced them to the concept of retailing and reselling their produce. So everything we produce in our garden is either sold back then to our staff. Some of the students, they get to take some as well. But long term, we are hoping to be able to offer some of this produce to our canteen operators here at the school, as well as to the community here in the north. Part of the holistic nature of our project as well is that we are going to make sure our product or our project is self-sustainable. So by that I mean that we are, first of all, cognizant of the fact that Barbados is water scarce. So we're going to be doing rainwater harvesting because thousands of gallons of water run off from our buildings around here. So we're going to be collecting those. And to run the pumps as well, the aim is to use solar power to run those pumps. So at the end of the day, this project will be fully self-sustainable.
Our original aim was for us to become self-sustaining, that whatever produce that we make is saleable and that we use funds from that to keep buying seed material, plant material, and whatever we may need for repairs. Also, it provides us with an avenue to have our students who have been interested in amenities, horticulture, and crop production, who would normally go to the International Institute of Cooperation and Agricultural Summer Program, for them to have a pathway within school itself to get certified with the CVQ in agriculture.